This one polar bear actually drinking Coke. The result was photographed by tourists and posted on the internet. The original Coke advertising is not a lie. The gorilla was not convinced. Directly blew a whole bottle. Immediately let this zoo is about to close down. Became a network of popular places to visit. Half a month ago, the owner bought the zoo at a low price and sent Jack as the director. Let him within 3 months restore the zoo's profitability. On his first day at work, Jack was full of confidence, but as soon as he entered the door, he almost cried out. Because of the huge amount of money owed, the animals had been taken out of debt. Not to mention the tigers. Even the rats had been sold. The cages were all empty. Only flies were flying around. The only one left was a polar bear who was depressed. Because of the temper tantrum, no one would take him for money. When they found out Jack was reopening, the only 4 remaining employees think he's a little sick. There can be no wife in a wife cake. You can't have animals in a zoo. To convince everyone, Jack invited everyone to dinner. Drunk on the way home, suddenly he was startled by something. Closer look. The original is a prop fake tiger. Inspired by this, the next day he came up with an idea. Although there is no money to buy real animals, but we can buy a prop costume. Your tiger costume is very similar. I cannot even see the fake it. Too scary. Tiger's clothes of course cannot be fooled. So they found a movie props company. Bought some simulated animal costumes. Jack directed them through a headset, and the staff played gorillas. Polar bears and lions are not very serious. There was a sloth hanging in the tree next to them. Jack told everyone to back up. As long as you don't get too close, visitors will not be able to find. These animals are all dressed as people. The next day, the zoo opened at half price, soon ushered in the first visitors. To save the zoo from closing down, employees pretend to be animals.
혜경씨 핸드폰 좀 그만 봐요 진짜. 사자 지금 뭐예요?
Looking at the sloth that is not moving, the children felt very bored, so they came back to see the fierce lion. But even if the sloth does not move, even the lion didn't move. The teacher took everyone to see the polar bear, but the polar bear is afraid to be recognized. Always hide behind a rock, in order to keep the tourists. Jack told him to go out for a walk, so the polar bear trembled. He came out cautiously.
선생님, 봄이 추운가 봐요. 친구들, 원래 북극곰은 추운 북극에 살기 때문에 따뜻한 우리나라에선 추위를 많이 느껴요.
Then I realized, something doesn't seem right. Only the gorilla side went the best. The 3 Amazons were all impressed by his pectoral muscles and superb temperament. He was so charming. After a long day of work, everyone was exhausted. Luckily, the tourists didn't find out they were pretending to be, but Jack was very dissatisfied with their performance, so he personally went to the scene to direct.
동물한테 그러면 안 돼? 사람한테 그러면 안 돼?
우리 들어가려나 보다.
펼쳐주면 안 돼요! 얼마나 비싼 건데!
Although the zoo is getting better and better, but it's still a long way from its goal. Jack went back to the prop company, only to learn that the boss owed 300 million. Take his sister-in-law and run away. Only a half-built giraffe was left behind. He put the prop on his neck to make it work, at least from a distance. Still looks like that. Unexpectedly at this time, the old gardener who played the polar bear was sick. He had to use Jack to replace him. From time to time, tourists throw things at him. In addition to the heat of the day, wearing a thick prop suit, he soon felt exhausted, until the lunch break found no one next to him. He took the opportunity to drink water, but the glass of water was already empty. He was so thirsty. Then he saw the Coke thrown by the tourists, picked it up without even thinking about it. This polar bear was so thirsty, actually took out a bottle of Coke, directly drank it down. Unexpectedly this scene was seen by the tourists. He wanted to hide, it was too late. People have taken pictures and posted them on the internet. The next day when Jack came to work, found the door full of people. They all came to line up, to see the polar bear who could drink Coke. The zoo that was on the verge of closing down, it was revived overnight. This makes Jack full of energy. Tourists threw in a Coke. He immediately picked it up and drank it. The visitors were stunned. This polar bear can find the Coke among all the drinks. He was able to find the Coke exactly, in order to strike while the iron is hot. Jack let the gorilla also perform drinking Coke, and even created a concert atmosphere. The female fans were mesmerized. The zoo's turnover. The zoo continues to break new records. Jack's mission was also successfully completed, but he suddenly learned that the boss revived the zoo, just to raise the valuation, so he could tear it down and turn it into a resort, to make more money, and the zoo's employees are about to be evicted. Jack told everyone about it. A few people got together and started fighting back. They cancelled the entrance fee, free admission to the zoo all day long, and handed out flyers, calling on everyone to protect the zoo. Soon word got around to the rich woman who bought the land. Once the news came out, she was also condemned by society. In order to resolve the matter, the owner himself came to the zoo. He had heard that all the animals here are pretend, so he broke in directly, but he never expected today's polar bear. It was the real polar bear that was cranky. The boss was pounced on the spot. He was about to become the polar bear's snack. He hurriedly lay down on the ground and pretended to be dead. I didn't expect the bear to do CPR. Directly pressed him to live. Critical moment. Jack put on the prop costume, attracted the polar bear. This saved the boss. Although the clothes were torn, the disguise was exposed, but at least it did not cause death. Then Jack found the rich woman, to persuade her that instead of the pressure of public opinion, she should change the original plan of the resort into a zoo expansion. This would be profitable, and make the public think she is a caring and kind enterprise. The rich woman thought it made sense, immediately agreed. A year later, the zoo reopened. There were no more lies. The animals had a better environment to live in. All life should be treated equally, not because of human greed, and destroy our common home.